While I slept, he emptied our entire home, all because of a single drunken slip at an office party. Hi everyone, welcome back. If you've ever seen one small mistake spiral into losing everything that mattered, this story will hit close to home. I'm Natalie, 29 years old. Not long ago, I truly believed I was living the life I'd always dreamed of. I was married to Lucas, 31, and for 2 years, we had been building something meaningful, a loving home, a hopeful future, and what we thought were unshakable dreams. But it all came crashing down in ways I could never have imagined. From the moment I woke that morning, something felt off. The house, once full of warmth and laughter, was unnervingly empty. Furniture, appliances, even our framed photos, all gone. At first, I thought we'd been robbed, but the doors were locked and nothing was out of place. Then I saw the note on the kitchen counter. Lucas's handwriting unmistakable. Happy New Year, Natalie. May your fresh start treat you better than I did. I sank into the nearest chair, heart racing, struggling to grasp what I was seeing. The man who had stood by me through the darkest times had vanished. No warning, no goodbye. Let me take you back to the beginning. 3 years ago, I started an internship at a mid-sized consulting firm, where I first met Lucas. He was a project supervisor, sharp, respected, quietly confident in that magnetic way. I tried to keep things strictly professional, but chemistry isn't something you can hide for long. After collaborating on a few projects, we started dating. 8 whirlwind months later, he proposed during a snowy weekend in the mountains. Just the two of us, and a love that felt infinite. After we married, life moved fast. Lucas accepted a job at a rival firm that nearly doubled his salary. We upgraded to a bigger house in the suburbs and began planning our future. Children, travel, renovations. My career was on a rise too. I eventually earned a promotion that brought more pressure than I anticipated. I began bringing work home, staying up late, and leaning on alcohol to cope. What started as a nightly glass of wine escalated into finishing bottles. Lucas noticed and addressed it gently at first, then with increasing concern. I brushed him off, insisting I had it under control. But I didn't. One night, I blacked out completely. That was my wake-up call. I checked into rehab and took 6 months off work. It was the hardest period of my life. Yet Lucas never left my side. That's the kind of man he was. When I returned, I was assigned a new manager, Ethan Carter. Mid-40s, youthful energy, and an irresistible charm. Lucas warned me about him. Manipulative, he said, urging me to be cautious. I dismissed it as jealousy. Ethan was professional, capable, and engaging. When a colleague went on maternity leave, I ended up working longer hours with him, often the last to leave the office. We exchanged late-night emails and texts to stay on top of projects. Lucas noticed. He pointed out how attached I seemed to be to my phone, always messaging Ethan. I reassured him it was strictly professional. He wasn't convinced. One evening, after an argument, I told Lucas he either needed to trust me or step back. Looking back, that was the beginning of the emotional rift. Soon after, Ethan started sharing personal stories. One night, after everyone else had gone, he brought me coffee and asked how I was really doing. I broke down, confessing my guilt, the strain with Lucas, and the exhaustion of pretending everything was fine. He listened quietly. Then I made a terrible mistake. In a raw, emotional moment, I hugged him and kissed him. It wasn't romantic, just messy and confused, and I regretted it instantly. We pulled away, shame mirrored in both our eyes. We agreed to keep our distance and act like it hadn't happened. But pretending doesn't erase what's done. Rumors started at work. People noticed our interactions, the closeness, the laughter, the body language. Eventually, it reached Lucas. One evening, he confronted me, demanding the truth. I lied, claiming it was all gossip. I didn't mention the kiss. I thought if I buried it deep enough, I could move on. By December, I was desperate to make amends. I cooked his favorite meal, planned a quiet night in, and promised to change teams once the project ended. Lucas seemed to relax. We agreed to start fresh in the new year. Then came the company New Year's Eve party. Ethan suggested Lucas join us, thinking it would make him feel included. I agreed, hoping it would put doubts to rest. That night, the drinks flowed. I hadn't had alcohol in over a year, but it was New Year's. One glass, I told myself. That glass became 5. Lucas was visibly upset, but I brushed it off. It's New Year's, I slurred, trying to downplay it. I ended up sitting between Lucas and Ethan. The rest is a blur. I woke the next morning in an empty house. Lucas was gone. Everything gone. I called, no answer. I reread his note over and over, trying to make sense of it. A few days later, I messaged Ethan and asked to meet. Over coffee, he filled in the blanks. Lucas had tried to stop me from drinking more that night. I resisted. We argued. At midnight, I toasted with Ethan, hugged him tightly, and kissed him again. This time it wasn't hidden. Lucas saw. He left. I sat frozen, tears streaming. I had destroyed the one relationship that had weathered every storm, all for a fleeting lapse and unresolved guilt. Now, months later, I live alone in a quiet apartment with bare walls. No photos. Too much silence. Lucas hasn't reached out, and I doubt he ever will. I'm sober again, but the emptiness isn't just from giving up alcohol. It's from losing the one person who had stood by me when no one else did. Trust is fragile. Often, it's not the betrayal itself that ends a relationship. It's the secrets, the distance, and the reckless choices we excuse in moments of weakness. If someone stands by you at your lowest, never give them a reason to doubt you at your peak.